Hello. In this video, I want to talk about the importance and benefit of one-finger scales. I find that they're the easiest way for me as a teacher to make sure a student is following their ear as they play. Whatever notes they play is guided by their ear, not by anything else like what notes they're playing or what they're looking at, just simply what they hear, and that's what they play. And it can also help make sure that people are shifting comfortably, not too anxiously, and also not pressing too hard into the fingerboard. Because I find if you are taking your time, you're very meditative, and at the same time, you're not pressing too hard, you can play a one-finger scale without practicing perfectly in tune. Assuming that you're singing inside, and then your fingers are responding to what you're singing inside. So I think a lot of times the best way to start with this is to pick a key that you can sing a full octave in. Let's say you pick D major. And I'm going to show you what I would do with students in the beginning. It is beneficial if you have a piano and you can play a D major chord while you sing, if you're the student, while you sing the scale, or your teacher while your student sings the scale. But if you don't, try to hear in your head that harmony in your head, maybe just 1, 3, 5, the first step of the scale, third step of the scale, and fifth step of the scale to make that triad. And if you can do it first without singing, that's fine, but probably it'll help to first sing it. If you are playing the harmony, you can have fun hearing how each step of the scale sounds beautiful and different with the harmony. And also, I would encourage you, as you sing, you try to have a liberal amount of air that will correspond to a liberal amount of bow. And also that you're breathing well and deep, which is also going to respond to being more deep into the string. A lot of times the singing will very much inform your bow. And then all you do once you sing the same way inside. You try to feel exactly the same way, and you allow your finger to do exactly what you're singing inside. Probably you notice, just because I sang it now, there's more music in what I was playing. There's more life in the bow, creating that music because it was coming from my internal singing. So that's very important. Now I want to talk about two major problems that I often see with students with this is they might be shifting too fast. And then because of that, might miss like this. And so just make sure you're always taking your time. I like an expression one of my previous teachers, Paul Cantor, said, is he said, we weren't playing one finger scales at this time, but I was doing a shift in a piece. And he said, imagine you're floating on a cloud of zenness. And I'll always remember that quote. I started laughing, but it's very helpful. That you're just really taking your time, you're really meditative. So if you find yourself moving too fast and having any anxiety over that, just think of that floating on a cloud of zenness maybe. And this will, even if eventually we're not going to play with all that sliding, it'll make our initial learning to play, going to the right pitches and being comfortable in our mind and our body, which is very important. The next problem that I see is that people will press too hard with their fingers. And what that does it'll make you get stuck on the pitch that you don't want to go to. And a lot of times it's very easy fix. You just make sure you're just leaning a little bit into the string, not more than you have to. And then you won't get stuck. And so basically I think if you are singing inside, if you are not pressing too hard, if you're really taking your time, not anxious about anything, sliding as much as you want, you can play any one finger scale perfectly. And that's what I found with all my students. If they're doing these things, it'll be beautiful and perfect. Something I recommend is that when you first start doing these one finger scales, which are meant to just make sure your playing is guided by your ears. You can't do a one finger scale without hearing where you're going. You can put a finger down without hearing where you're going. So it's really great for just making sure your fingers learn how to be guided by your ear. And I would recommend doing a different finger on each string every day, always a random different scale. So I was doing third finger on the A string, maybe first finger on the D string, and maybe fourth finger on the E string. And of course, you can always sing all of these before you play them. That's what I would recommend in the beginning. But now I'll just show you to save time. Also, another thing that can help is think about shifting a bit before the bow change so you have enough time to shift. And if I find myself thinking too much about the left hand and not enough about the bow, like that last time, I might just sing a little bit to get that feeling. And we have one finger left, second finger. So maybe we can go, you can always start in different positions. So we could do like D flat major on the G string. So that's the string we haven't played on yet, and that's the finger we haven't played yet. One final thing I remember that's a problem I see is sometimes people's thumb can get very stuck in a weird place, like back there, or they're going down and get stuck up here. So if that's happening to you or your student, I recommend on steps in first position, third position, and fifth position, or just certain markers within whatever scale you're playing. So like this first scale we did, see where your thumb is when your hand is comfortable. Then you go to the third. See where it's comfortable for your thumb there. Then you go to the fifth scale degree. See where does it feel comfortable for your hand and thumb. Then you can go up and again see what feels comfortable for your hand. Then when you go through, make sure your thumb is getting to those places and never grabbing so that it can't move to those places. Always being able to move with the hand. There are different philosophies on if the thumb moves with the hand. I think a lot of people can play well different ways, moving before or after or with. But what's important is that your hand stays in a comfortable position. I hope this helps, and good luck with your one finger scales.